From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
It's a big afternoon of afternoons at Lalate, and I'm back with exciting, great news this Wednesday afternoon about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats will likely give you more months of stimulus checks. Then we go to the recon process, and we'll go over that fourth stimulus recon and why all my reporting, which I've been reporting for 2 weeks about other items in there to give you money, have now been confirmed. I'll go over some of the details of the other checks that are now slated in the fourth stimulus. Then in the third part of this video, we'll go in over the voting process and what's slated for this week, this Thursday, next week. A lot of breaking news for the bipartisan and the recon. Yes, they're getting it done. Really exciting details, and it's happening this afternoon. Then we got to the fifth stimulus, and Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, just spoke. He's sort of ready for me to come back. And he had big news about where inflation's going. It's big because it impacts your fifth stimulus. And then we go to the big money that thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars for you continue to get. I'll explain to you how you can get it today. It's a big afternoon. I'm excited to be back. Let's get to the breaking details, starting right here, right now, on Afternoons Lalate. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Hope your Wednesday is going wonderful. I'm so excited to be back with you. How's the weather where you're tuning in from? It cooled down here in LA. It's still a little bit warm, but it cooled down. It's pleasant now. But I am still a bit overheated because there's so much breaking news. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, just an insane amount of breaking news. We'll go over those monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats may give you more months than initially thought before. We'll go over the reconciliation process, and I have the details of what monies are in there for you in addition to stimulus checks. I told you there was other sums. I have the details for you in this recording. Then we go to the two steps, the two bills that need to be voted on. We're really almost three bills, bipartisan recon. We have a date. We have a date. We have a plan to finish the bill date as well. The drafting, so much breaking news. It's really exciting. It's coming up in the third part of this video. Then we cut to fifth stimulus as well that raise your benefits up lifetime with a new benchmark of inflation. And guess who came back today as well? Not just me. The other Mr. Purple, Jay Powell. He just testified on Capitol Hill, and I have his comments as well. Impacts your SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. And then we cut to the big money that viewers continue to get: $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, like Nisi, who got $23,000, John, who got $12,000. I'm going to show you how to get that money as well. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up right after this video is a brand new Evenings Lalate. So stay on this video, it'll automatically take you there. And then we go into Overnight's Crypto, brand new show tonight. And then Evenings Crypto and a new not a new sirloin, a sirloin. He's just always new. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Also, like this video. Every like helps. It delivers a side of your play, but it also helps in the algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat, the pinned comment. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check and why the bill from the House may ultimately be the wherefore for the more checks. When we're looking at monthly stimulus checks, we have a House bill and a Senate proposal. The House bill is pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal is July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House, $1,000 the second month after the first month of $2,000. Senate, the amount monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this: $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Well, you see how things have changed so dramatically. It was 2 weeks ago where I said, hey, the legislators may contend that the pandemic's over, and they may only give you under the House bill just 1 year checks, which would be $13,000. That's now gone because most everyone now believes the pandemic's not over. It was about a week ago where I said it's starting to look like maybe it's not over. Now it looks like it's definitely not over. So suddenly we're looking at the House bill versus Senate proposal, and there's a lot more checks in that House bill. Let's go back to that House bill. Suddenly we're not thinking about 12 checks. We're thinking about more than 12 checks. Pandemic plus 1 year. And how does more than $13,000 from the House compare to this and the Senate? I hit the wrong button. Well, it's somewhere in there. How does that compare to that versus the Senate? Here we go. There you go. How does that compare to this versus Senate? Jump in the live chat. Vote House of Senate. House of Senate right now. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? I think your opinion may have changed. I know my opinion changed. This is the Senate, and which one do you like? House of Senate. Well, who would get this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent everyone that got a third stimulus check will get a fourth. Single individual, 75,000 or less. Democrats say they want to give you a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent they want to give you a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent they want to give you a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent they want to give you a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for all people the Democrats represent. And the fourth stimulus check would not come in waves. It's not a waivable check. It would come monthly. So if you do see the check at the boutique trying to put its arms in another sweater, just another day, another sweater, and you say, hey, check, you got caught in the sweater the other day. Are you trying this again? And then suddenly the check sort of, gets caught again. Check is caught. Caught check. Yeah, doesn't like check humor. Doesn't like check humor. You're a rude check. You're a rude. No, it's not a rude check. It's just not a fashionable check. We don't care. We don't care if it's fashionable or not fashionable, so as long as we get it. The Democrats represent that the fourth stimulus check would come in the month of July for the month of July, and in the month of August for the month of August. I'll go over what happened to that July 4th, the date with Chuck and Nancy later in the second part of this video. And we'll be going, in the third part of this video. But more importantly, I'm going to go over the exciting great news as we now have a vote date. We now have a vote date. We now have bill dates. We now have a lot of dates that we didn't have less than 24 hours ago. Things are changing very quickly. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over the news confirming my reporting that there's other sums of money. Do you see how many pieces of paper are here? Yeah, just a little bit. There's so much breaking news here. How do I get to do this in 45 minutes? I don't know. The confirmation that there's other sums of money in fourth stimulus recon for you. I have the details of what that sums of money for you is in this big Afternoons LA broadcast. But let's get a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, and it raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, SSA, veterans. Thank goodness, my veterans deserve it, and all the rest of you do as well. But Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, testified today, and he gave us a little bit more insight about that inflation rate. I'll have those details coming up in a second. But first, let's get some money. I'm so excited for you. You are killing it. You're killing it. If you're new to this channel, this is what I do. I get people money. In April of last year, people were not getting their EIDL loans and EIDL grants approved. So I did not launch this channel to track it, to track the check, because it wasn't coming. I got the viewers the money. I stepped in, I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans. But now you're getting the money, and you're doing an incredible job. Jump in the live chat right now and post all the sums of money you've gotten. The numbers are just so inspiring. I've been saying that rent is available now, about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. Viewers are getting $10,000 to $13,000 because of my recordings for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. Congratulations. Post the rent you got for this channel. Utilities, I said there's available $300 something for rent. Utilities, viewers are getting about $3,000. Incredible. Post in the live chat the utilities you've gotten. And then I've been talking about SNAP, $5,000 to $6,000. A lot of viewers got from this channel. Now viewers like John are getting $12,000 for SNAP. Nisi getting $23,000 for rent, utilities, and internet. Art Sullivan getting 3 items from this channel. Viewers are getting a lot of money. And it's absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything so successful as you. So post in the live chat right now. In fall of 2020, it was like now. Viewers were waiting for second stimulus to pass. It wasn't yet passing. It was the holidays and people needed money. Well, I'm getting people money right now. In fall of 2020, I got viewers $250,000 of money. Viewers like Tyrone, I got $15,000 for rent for his family of 4. So get that pen and paper ready because we're going to get you some money right now. If you haven't gotten money, if you got one sum, I'm going to get you other sums. And if you just have to have a Crayola crown, understand there's nothing muddled about this. Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall and other places to get this pot of money. Each place has different pots of money. So if one says no, reach out to the next. They all have different eligibility. Are you ready? I am. Let's do it. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like range of options. Teal. They don't know teal. I don't know teal. I know seal, but I don't know teal. So don't say words they don't know. That and stimulus. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money. I don't know Teal, but I do know Seal. And we do have a seal at the opening credits of the show. He's still there. He says he barks every single day if you want to go see him face to face. And there you go. The next part of the money is Snap. It's wonderful. John got $12,000 for this. Congratulations, John. It's a fortune. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your Snap up 15% between now and December. What is Snap? It is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to them. It is money for your food, and the eligibility is about the same as a stimulus check. So if you have bills around the house, like you have to fix the car or go to the dentist, you have bills. Why are you paying for food when the federal government will pay the bill for food? In the case of John, he got $12,000. That's $12,000 of bills he doesn't have to pay for food. It's now covered by the federal government. So go get it. Ling Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom, Gail, got it as well. And it's just a fortune. And you're killing it. $15,000, $16,000 for staff for family for Hawaii. $5,000, at least for Red, but you're getting 12 to 13. And we're only 11 minutes of this video. I got more money for you right now. It's coming back from your states. The states have been ordered to return money back to you due to overpayment of computer error, of unemployment due to computer error. Where is it coming? Direct deposit. When? Reach out to your respective state. Say, hey, state, where is that money due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? Congratulations to the two viewers just recently who got $3,000 and $5,000 for this. And the last part of the money, I have a breaking news update about this as well. I told you there's a lot of breaking news today. It's the money coming back from IRS. IRS issued a statement minutes ago that said if you have not gotten this refund check, which I'm about to go over, direct deposits will ramp up starting today, July 14th, and paper checks will start ramping up, will be delivered beginning June 16th. Let me give you those dates exactly. Start direct deposit July 14th, even though some viewers have already gotten, and mailed checks by July 16th, and more refunds will continue thereafter. That's a statement from IRS minutes ago. So what is this? It's the refund check due to unemployment benefits. Let's go over how much, when, and where. Now you know a little bit about the where. First, let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of total taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit if you had that set up, otherwise in the mail. When? You now know this month and continuing thereafter. And can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal stuff that you never knew. It'll reveal some stuff that you don't want to know and you wish you had never heard of. Like muddled anything. Like circle round more again, like range of options, like, the color wheel. We will not hear these things anymore. But if you go in there and search, it'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, and the refund check you're getting 70% of the time. And can we top that? We can, as we go into the second of your big, 3 parts of your forced stimulus check update 2021 started right now. Well, we have the confirmation. I have been telling you that there was other sums of money in forced stimulus recon for you besides stimulus checks. And now we have the confirmation of the details. I'll be going over them in this recording. First, let me explain where we are. Today is Wednesday. And 3 weeks ago today, the split of recon happened. Before that day, the recon was a monstrosity. It had roads and bridges and other things in there. And Nancy and Chuck had pulled the Democratic leadership and the president as well, and Jalopal, and they said, hey, we're not voting for it, the Democrats. You got to shrink it. So they shrunk it by taking roads and bridges out 3 weeks ago today, taking them out and putting it into something called the bipartisan. It created a 2-path process. And those 2 paths are the bipartisan, which is roads and bridges, and the recon, which is for stimulus. For the first time in this recording, I want to go over names because I got some emails from very nice viewers or DMs that said that they were talking about names and they got confused. Bipartisan also refers to the infrastructure bill. Build Back America refers to both of them. Recon refers to reconciliation, what I just showed. Budget bill also refers to recon. Yeah, I know there's a lot of names. Can we just choose a name and just, free Britney of all the other names? It's just, yeah. So this one is also called budget bill or reconciliation or, the Democratic thing. And this is also called infrastructure. And then the two of them together are also called Build Back America. So I just know this is I know these names are just sort of nauseating, but it's not my fault. There's a certain guy, yeah, it's him. He keeps on changing names every single 24 hours. I don't know. He would be great on naming pop singer groups because the name of the group just changes every 10 minutes. The great news is that now the recon is now passable by that split. How do we have that confirmation? From the GOP. A wonderful op-ed by a GOP author in a wonderful conservative publication about a few days ago confirms my reporting. Number one, this is what the author wrote in the op-ed. The higher the price amount was in the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the provisions of the recon and put it into the bipartisan, roads and bridges, it made the recon now smaller. That's obvious. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon now passable. Sorry to set you up, Mitch. How does that feel? So there you go. The GOP had nothing to gain by blessing the bipartisan because now it makes the recon passable. Now, that comment was an opinion comment, but what the great news is you're going to see in the third part of this video, the Republicans do want to pass now the bipartisan, so they're not working against it. So we have that breaking news coming up later in this video. What is the second great benefit of that split? Now the progressives were able to add things else into the recon. Now that the recon was shrunk because roads and bridges were taken out, the progressives were able to add stuff in. Over the last week, I've been reading you quotes where they said they're going to, they will, they are. And I was telling you that I knew a little bit about, certain items. Now we actually have confirmation they did it. And I actually have the items for you. So there you go. Check that off the list. The Progressive Caucus I had been reporting for over a week was meeting with the president to add other things in there. And then we had Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, who said, we had a commitment regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, the recon goes big as we want. Well, it did go big. And I have the details for you. And then Representative Richie Torres said that I refuse to vote for the bipartisan unless the recon is large enough. And he is putting in housing. It's important to note Torres's housing because you're going to see a second from now. I don't have the housing on the list, but the list I have is not comprehensive. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff in there. So how are they able to do this? Because the recon is protected. Some of the comments that I got from viewers, they were confused and said, I heard about the infrastructure that. No. Unless you own a road or bridge, which I don't think you do, you want to focus on the words reconciliation, recon, or budget bill. If you hear infrastructure, you want to just change the channel because that does not concern you unless you own a bridge. All right, so Senator Brian Schatz and Representative Jalapal had both confirmed that the president was telling them to protect the recon and the progressive policies in there. The White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon his own priorities. Well, obviously, because I'm going to show you in a second those wonderful priorities. How did we get to this spot? We got to the spot when Jalapal several weeks ago wrote Schumer a letter saying, call the vote, Chuck, on the recon. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100 plus who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Now, here's what you need to know about what a reconciliation is. What is a reconciliation? Reconciliation is a bill. It's actually 2 bills, reconciliation procedural, reconciliation substantive, written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. GOP have nothing to do with the writing of the bill. They just vote against it. And how is it actually written? Who writes it? It's written by subcommittees in the House. Each subcommittee of the House has different subjects that they're delegated on the Constitution. So one subcommittee does stimulus checks, that's House Ways and Means. One subcommittee does unemployment, that's also House Ways and Means. Other committees do labor and education. When they're done with what they're done, they send it up to Nancy, whatever pages they've written. Let's say it's 10 pages. Let's say it's 10 subcommittees, and she combines it, and that's a bill. Nowhere in the Constitution is required for them to show you what they're writing. They're not required to show you what they've written or not written, or what they voted on or were not voted on. But when it's combined as a bill, then you finally see it. And here's what you need to know, is that we saw with Torres, where he's talking about putting in housing, we don't know the details of the housing because on the Constitution they're required to show it to you. But what's incredible great news about this letter is that the subcommittee House Ways and Means, that is responsible for writing stimulus checks, wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Wow. They also wrote your third stimulus check, recon, and they also say they're doing a fifth stimulus check, recon, next year. It would not overlap. It would be at a different time horizon. And there you go. Can we top that? We can. As just days ago, the president finally got the official signature. 3 weeks ago, you saw the president go overseas to do a ceremonial signature of the global corporate tax rate, which makes fourth stimulus recon easier to pass. Now it's easy. Now it's a final law. Why is this huge? Because they don't need that provision in the recon anymore. It makes it easier to write the recon because you don't need the provision in there. It's in the international agreement. It's now law, international law. Number two, it makes it easier to call the vote on the recon because it's not in there. It's easy to vote on it. It's easier to pass it. Wow, can we top that? We can. As we go into really the monstrosity final 15 minutes of this video, which is absolutely just going to be overwhelming. And in that in that final part, we're going to be going over everything that you need to know. What is in the recon? We're going to go over what is with the vote, what is going on with the bill, and why has everything sort of really gotten incredible great shape in less than 48 hours. I'm going to put all that in the final 15, which may actually run a little bit longer than 15. But first, also coming up is fifth stimulus. Jay Powell just spoke minutes ago about an inflation rate. This is huge because my SSI and SSDI viewers are wondering how much their benefits will be raised up in December. I'll explain those details, or in November through January. I'll explain those details coming up after the commercial break. But first, something even more wonderful, the volunteers. If you've had problems finding that rent, utility, internet, or SNAP, and you just don't, and you can't find it, don't worry, I got your back. They're the volunteers, and they got your back as well. Go to the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll find the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Send you over to the community page, which is news.la.com/community. On that page, they're separated by the different social medias. They're on a page of some kitty cats. They're not the volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Reach out to the volunteers. They can help you with rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP. And they are absolutely incredible. They cannot help you with the color wheel. They cannot help you with anything muddled. We don't muddle here. But I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with big, exciting news that is breaking, and it's not muddling. It's coming up in 60 seconds from now. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now from Santa Monica on Afternoons LA as we're crashing in the waves of a big Wednesday afternoon of Afternoons LA. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Every subscriber helps because it's the power of the purple. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. Every like helps in the algorithm rankings. It also delivers you a sunblock. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Coming up later in this video, we'll be going over the surprising details about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. And stay on this video, it'll automatically take you to Evenings LA, a brand new show tonight at 5 o'clock. Let's go right to fifth stimulus right off the bat. Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, testified on Capitol Hill today, and he spoke about the inflation rate, which is all the chatter of this stimulus. This stimulus involves raising up your benefits, then removing the asset limit, adding an inflationary benchmark, there you go, and removing the income exclusion, removing the marriage penalty. How does this work? First, they're going to raise your benefits up a lifetime. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits. They'll be raised up one big time under fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is this fall, and the raise up would happen later this year. Then they will apply a benchmark. That the benchmark is applied at the end of this year for next year's benefits. Jay Powell spoke about that inflation rate again today. What did he said 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? He said that inflation rate is going to keep on going up, going up, going up, and then it's going to hit its highest point in December and then come back down. What did he say today? No change, actually, but he did say that it's a temporary rate and it will spike. And he thought that it might not be a big spike. Interesting. Most of Wall Street doesn't agree with him on the number, but they agree with him on the spike, what we call temporary, or as he calls it, transitory. Wall Street saw the consumer price index number released earlier this week. It's regarding consumer prices, how much it costs to buy something. Went up really high. I had that detail, I think, yesterday. It was enormous. Biggest number in 30 years, 40 years. I mean, enormous spike. So inflation is going up. And he said it's okay to be temporary. So how much would your benefits will be raised up? Well, some Wall Street analysts think that inflation is going to go up to 10% and then come back down. We got to choose a number. Maybe 5%. So let's do the analysis. First, your benefits will be raised up. Then they'll apply the benchmark. Let's say it's 5%. Then your benefits will be raised up 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate next year does settle down at 1%, then you're a +5, +1% lifetime. Then they're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't work, you can't have cash on hand of $3,000 or more. And also stay on benefits. Now you'll be able to have a Crayola crown in violet or purple and also stay on stimulus checks. Then they're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear a loss of benefits. The marriage penalty would not be restored retroactively, but from that date forward. Now, also under fifth stimulus, that House Ways and Means Subcommittee represent, they will be giving you monthly stimulus, they will be giving you stimulus checks next year. We don't know the details of it, but will not overlap with the fourth stimulus. The president, meantime, has dedicated $1 billion to the Social Security Administration to ensure your monies will arrive on time. This is fourth and fifth stimulus. And finally, if you're missing any stimulus checks, you need to file a tax return and request it on the tax return. There's actually a tax line on the tax return. If you haven't done both, reach out to the tax preparer. So if you're in the live chat and you're noticing a lot of people posting with a purple hawk emoji, the big monies they've gotten, rent, utilities, internet, SNAP, and you're wondering, I haven't gotten that. How come they got it and I didn't get it? Consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Daily viewers are delivered from me a breakdown of all the big monies under third stimulus. When third stimulus was passed, I said, yeah, you get a $14 stimulus check, but I'm going to get you $14,000. And I did. I continue to get viewers tens of thousands of dollars daily. Post the money you got in this live chat if you haven't posted as well. Because when you do, you inspire other people to get those sums of money. If someone's watching and they only got rent but didn't get SNAP, then they're inspired to get the other sums of money. It also updates people where checks are coming. So if people are waiting for that IRS refund, it gives them an update about that. And finally, it inspires me and updates me about the numbers. And there you go. Time for the big final 15 of your fourth stimulus check of 2021 starting right now. Number one, the recon does have other stuff in there for you, as I have been reporting. I told you that Omar and I told you that Torres said that they were putting stuff in there, and on Jalapal, well, we have the confirmation. Here are the details. This is from a conservative publication. So the angle of the article was to say, hey, they shouldn't be giving you these things. So it is not a comprehensive list. It is not everything. And it's sort of items they chose, the conservative publication, to sort of, disparage the recon. So let me go over what's in there. Free school meals for all, tax breaks for a lot of unusual things, which I'm not going to bore you on. Cheaper prescription medication. Medicare would be lower, and it would also expand cheaper pricing across the board. Immigration reform, greener farming with new stimulus for farmers. Sir Lloyd has got his way again. money for elections, closing the digital divide, which would be an enormous amount for internet, and so it allow free internet for free local governments to operate their own internet networks and have them for free. Clean energy check and perks, worker protection checks, a top priority for organized labor, Medicare expansion checks, lower eligibility, and new coverage for dental, vision, and hearing aid. It just goes on and on and on. So that's that item. That's the first item that's breaking. Number two, viewers have asked what happened to that July 4th date with Nancy and Chuck and the president. When Chuck had said that date, the recon was like this, and he had pulled his Democratic caucus, and they said, we're not going to vote for that recon, the July 4th. Now, over the last few weeks, I've explained to you what happened thereafter. I don't think I need to repeat that anymore, so I'm going to cut right to the chase, which is that there was breaking news yesterday. The Democratic senators, which are really the lead core focus of the recon, not the bipartisan, the recon, came to an agreement late yesterday of the top line price for the recon. The agreement was $3.5 trillion. So what did they reach an agreement on? They did not call the vote on the recon. They did not reach an agreement on the provisions of the recon. They did not call a vote on the provisions of the recon. They came to an agreement about the price tag of the recon. And the price tag of the recon will be $3.5 trillion. Now, I mean, I just have to sort of say this. You look at a $3.5 trillion recon. That's a lot of money, folks. If you've been with me since last year, we've not had a recon that has been that enormous. It's just enormous. So to think that the American people will be let out to dry when it's $3.5 trillion, it's just not going to happen. So I think you should be very, very, very ecstatic about the $3.5 trillion. I do not have enough time to run all the quotes from Bernie, and everyone's saying they're so ecstatic about this price tag. I just think the price speaks for itself. If you hear that 3.5, you should be very ecstatic. That means there's a lot of way to put the items in there. Chuck Schumer says we're very proud of this plan. Bernie says it's historic, and it's a pivotal moment in American history. The days where nothing goes to the American people are gone, he says. So it just goes on and on. So what does this mean for you? It means that, as one of the Tim Kaine, Democrat, says, now that the price tag has been reached of an agreement for the recon, now they can agree upon the provisions. Basically, okay, we got the number. Now let's sort of figure out how much we're going to put to different things. And by all accounts, the reconciliation group has an agreement about the provisions. They are not delivering you a copy of the bill, so you're not seeing the bill yet. And if you do see the bill at any time, remember they can still modify it. So we're far from over on this. Next, the bipartisan has an enormous progress. The bipartisan, just out of nowhere, was looking like it was going off the track on Tuesday morning. But by Tuesday evening, the Republicans were praising that they think the bipartisan is getting done. So I had made enough videos where I said, well, the bipartisan is written. Well, the bipartisan is written. And, and Shelley Moore Capito did this. I want to move away from that now, because now the Republicans are ecstatic about the bipartisan. Yeah, you heard me right. I said Republicans. I didn't say Democrats. I said Republicans. They have set a tentative agreement to come to an agreement about the provisions of the bipartisan by tomorrow. Now, it is a vaguely phrased sentence. It's not clear if it's the bill or if it's a draft of the provisions that would be in the bill, which is ostensibly the same thing. It's very, very exciting. And their hope, and I'm putting this very clear, hope, is that the vote on the bipartisan would be next week. Yeah. Now, you can certainly read some of the articles from middle-of-the-road publications, not conservative, not liberal, that they say, yeah, a vote on the bipartisan by next week. It could be done, but that's really pushing it. What the articles say. I don't know why they say that, so I have no reason to insert my opinion of the situation. But Kristen Sinema, Lisa Murkowski, who's a Republican, Mitt Romney, all are saying we're getting it done. Oh my goodness. We hope to get most of the issues resolved by Thursday, but there'll surely be some after that, says Mitt Romney. I've always said I like Mitt Romney on this channel. He doesn't play games. He's done some really good bills. There's a Mitt Romney bill for everything. There's a Mitt Romney bill for my flowers. He just has, and so for him to say we're hoping to get most of this done by Thursday, I believe that's going to happen. Remember, Mitt Romney got the second stimulus recon in December, moving quickly in a very short period of time. So when he can move stuff, he can move it. And there's just a lot of other quotes. Mitch was on board with this. And even Bernie, and then on the Democrat on the sides, there's Democrat quotes that are very ecstatic about how the bipartisan is going on. My job is to do everything to see that the Senate comes forward with the strongest possible legislation, protect the needs of the working families in the country, says Sanders. So it's looking really good. Here is what you need to know going into evenings. Clearly, I'm sort of skipping some of the stuff I would normally go over with what happened to July 4th, what happened to July 15th. July 15th is the children's check. It is not anything to do with this. That's third stimulus. This is fourth stimulus. But we're seeing incredible progress. What I need you to remember is that there's a series of things you have to really focus on. Number one, your relief, the American family, the American individual, your checks are in the recon, also called reconciliation, also called budget bill. It's not in the infrastructure. So don't focus on infrastructure. That's not your bill. That's the other one. Infrastructure is roads and bridges. Number two, the rolling out of things will take its own time. So we have done this before when we look at second stimulus, when we looked at third stimulus. First, we don't hear something. Then we hear it. Then we don't hear it. Then we hear it. People are sort of wanting people to sort of, jump up and wave. Oh, here it is. They don't do that, these legislators. They just they're more focused on getting the whole thing done. So give it a little bit of time for us to see everything. And don't look at the bipartisan, because that's not you, that's roads and bridges. Finally, it's important to push. It's important to push. It's important to push until the vote has occurred. The way the voting process goes, here we go, is 12 steps. There is 3 bills that requires 12 steps. It does not require 12 days, though. They can do it quicker. Those are the reconciliation procedural, the reconciliation substantive, and the bipartisan. Because there's 3 bills, each bill takes 4 steps, and those 4 steps are the following. They start on the Senate floor, should be Senate subcommittee, then the Senate floor, then the House, then the President's. 4 steps times 3. They got to do those 4 steps. Number 2, there was an article out yesterday that said if this does become monthly stimulus checks, it would likely be direct deposit. The whole system of paying checks is getting a little bit more sophisticated than it was in 2020. Number 3, the economic data we're looking for tomorrow, Thursday's numbers for jobless claims. The economic data a week ago tomorrow was horrible. It looked at new jobless claims. Now, what does that mean? It means that people who had a job in 2020 and still had a job in 2021, they've had a job for the last 2 years, and suddenly they showed up to work last week and they were laid off. How many Americans? 373,000. Horrible number. Up from 350, which was a very high-end estimate from Wall Street. It's a bad number. Guess who looks at that number? I do. You do. And Congress does. And the president. And the gauge of whether you need stimulus is unemployment. And the number was bad. It's a bad number. Tomorrow we're going to see the update of that number for tomorrow. Whenever there's bad numbers, you have to use that opportunity to push. There was also another report out yesterday that said, with the price of goods going up so severely, that people who are retirees or seniors or SSI or STI, the money you have in the bank or the money you get for your benefits checks have less value to them because costs of goods have gone up. So if you went to buy milk and it used to be $2, now it's $4, you got to spend $4. So suddenly that $4 you have in the bank doesn't buy you 2 gallons of milk, it buys you 1 because it went from $2 to $4. So it shows you why it's important to get this done. Moreover, what's important to understand is that there's going to be fake narratives across the board. There's going to be fake narratives. It was very interesting yesterday, which is when we had the breaking news come out of the progress on the bipartisan and progress on the recon. I went to a conservative website, the same one where that op-ed was from, and it had close to the top of the page an article that said the bipartisan's falling apart. Well, the article was written earlier on Tuesday, but because the website doesn't publish a lot of articles, that's the first one you see when you go there. And I'm like, wait a second, falling apart? And then I went on the same news feed that a lot of you were sending me DMs about, and they had gotten the alert late Tuesday night. So it shows you that if you went to one website, it was still running with the news cycle was 12 hours ago, when it was not going well Tuesday morning for the bipartisan. By Tuesday evening, it was going really well. So I want you to understand how news surfaces, and I want you to stay positive. I want you to stay focused. I also want you to push. It's important to understand that there is money there for you to get. The reason why this rent, utilities, internet, and food is so important is because I want you to get this money. It's money that's available now. Money doesn't care where it comes from. It doesn't matter what it's called. If you got a truck in the driveway and you got to fix the carburetor, or you got a son that needs a tooth to get pulled, that's bills. And if I can get you your rent paid or your utilities or your food, then that's money that's available to fix those other items. I don't want you to be tracking a stimulus check. I want to be cashing these checks because ultimately, these legislators need to do what they promise. And ultimately, we're going to hold them to their promises because I want you to push. I want you to call them up and say, hey, I need these things. Not when am I getting these things. I need these things. I need stimulus checks because this is what's happened to my family. This is what's happened to my community. This is what's happened to my business. You need to push to the final minute because they can change things by the final minute. They now have an agreement of $3.5 trillion, but they still have not agreed upon where the money is to be spent. And if you want an extension of that PUC, or extension of PUA, or extension of PEUC, or any of the unemployment benefits claims, or reinstallation of them if they've expired, reinstalling them, then push. Because the economic unemployment numbers were horrible a week ago. If you think that student loan debt forgiveness or mortgage forbearance or eviction moratorium should be in the fourth stimulus, then push. They want to hear from you. They're paid to hear from you and to take your wishes in their mindset to get it done. It's not just all lobbyists, it's also viewers. And so ultimately, if you think that there should be something in there, make the call. If you want to have stimulus checks in there, don't hold your hand up and wait for that donut to sit there. Make the call. Make the call, because down to the very finish line, things get changed. If there's one thing you've learned from this channel, that legislators move very quickly in those final hours. And I will not let you forget that in 2020, initially, when we did CR for stimulus, it was my idea to put stimulus in the CR. The CR was not going to have stimulus. I got the idea. We changed history as a family. We got stimulus in the CR. And guess what happened? They said, yeah, we're putting stimulus in there. There's just going to be unemployment stimulus. So we said, wait a second. That's not what we wanted. We went also on stimulus checks in there. And we pushed and we got it. They weren't going to give us anything until we push. So make sure you push. And I look forward to seeing you next on Evenings at Lalate. There's so much breaking news. And I think I covered it all. But I literally have like 45 pages of breaking news stories that I need to cover today, and I have more for you on Evenings LA. So join me in just an hour and a half, and with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, YouTube record in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. Hit that like button. Every like helps. It also delivers a better sweater for the channel. And consider becoming a member. The membership links at the top of the chat, also under the video. By becoming a member, you're delivered daily all the big monies you can get under third stimulus. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful afternoon, and stay with LA for more.